resist my divine power.
His death was a necessary loss. Soon I will have a new apprentice, one far younger and more powerful.
Remember, when a king is loved as I am, much can be accomplished.
Boom, the world class.
TJ.
Oh, y'all got me out of bed for this. You know,
It's a pleasure having you here.
I'm here for it. So,
okay.
My
I guess it's time for somebody to have a big plate.
My comment was general in terms, but Mr. World Class, since you were directing your comments directly at me, I thought I would just come in and ask you to repeat it, that you were directing your comment to me. My question was in general. You said people like TJ Randolph.
Your generation, yes.
Okay, so what about my generation? Because again, let me be clear.
You didn't hear what I said?
I'm asking you to repeat it to make sure I heard it correctly.
Your generation.
People like me, what?
People like your generation. People like you and your generation love to call people youngins, and you have a problem. Your super chat was saying that you had a problem when youngins are talking. Let me pull it up. Let me find it. I don't want to misquote you. We're gonna do that. It offends me. It offends me when youngins are so cocky to say what other generations got wrong when they benefited from everything that was done wrong. The nerve.
Yeah, and I meant that.
Right. So you being offended when the youngins, because I take it I'm 36, you're senior to that.
I'm 55. Yes, I am.
Okay. So you're 55. My grandmother was 70 years. My great grandmother was 70 years old when I was 4. So she would be older than you. Yes.
Correct.
So she taught me.
My mother's 73.
So she taught me that just because you didn't die for a long time doesn't make you an elder. So a lot of the things that you say in your statement are in direct contradiction to what I was taught by my great elder. So that's what I'm talking about.
What did my statement
your generations like yours, what you're saying about us is the same thing they said about your generation. Did you miss anything I said just now?
Are you attempting to be
I'm asking you,
are you attempting to be condescending to me?
Did you miss anything that I said just now? Is all I'm asking.
I'm asking you, are you attempting to be condescending to me? Because that's very condescending, whether you were intending to be so or not.
It's condescending based off what exactly?
What you just said, as if I lack understanding. That's condescension.
So I know you enough to know that you can comprehend everything I said to the degree in which I said it. That's what you're saying. I know you that well, yes?
No, you don't. And because
you don't, wouldn't I qualify
and because you don't,
why wouldn't I qualify it?
And because you don't, the comment you made prior to me coming up here, because you don't know me well enough, the comment you made that brought me up here, because you don't know me well enough. Because if you did, excuse me, sir, if you did know me well enough, if you knew anything about me, the people who on this panel who do know about me know that I don't have a problem being questioned. Know that I don't have a problem with admitting the foibles of my generation. So again, it is condescension when you were directing your comment to me. My comment was in general. You look perplexed.
Yeah. So because you think in some at 55, you think that it being general or it being direct, you have a choice to decide whether it's disrespectful to me or not. When we just established I'm younger than you, right? So I would be included in the youngins are so cocky to say what other generations got wrong.
And it had to be what somebody said on the panel. That it had to be somebody on the panel or something said on the panel that made you say that statement. So it's general, but it's general between 10 people.
Yeah. You said the people that know you on the panel. I'm not Chantel. I'm not.
Excuse
That's not going to
me?
work. I'm not Chantel Simone. That's not going to work with me.
What does Chantel Simone have to do with this conversation?
People that know you. That's where I know you from. You have a problem with
younger What does Chantel Simone have to do with this conversation?
Hey, guess what? You just asked me that question. I was answering it, yes. Just like you did, yes.
What does Chantel Simone have to do with this conversation?
When am I going to be able to answer the question? You're going to do the same thing you just did 2 times after.
Sure.
Okay, so your prior statement was that the people that know you on the panel, I'm one of those people that know you on the panel. So I know you on the panel from you having a problem with Chantel Simone challenging the older generation, which is consistent with your super chat.
Well, first of all, I don't have a problem.
So I'm telling you, I'm not Chantel Simone.
Well, I'm telling you, like I tried to tell her, I don't have a problem with being questioned about the things that people did wrong.
Nobody questioned you. You said nobody knows you. Nobody questioned you. We talked about your generation and you, quote unquote.
No, you pointed directly to me. You said to me.
You said it offends me in your super chat.
TJ Randolph. So that's why I'm asking you specifically. You mentioned my name.
It offends me when youngins are so cocky. That's what you said.
I did. And I meant every word. And I meant every word.
So there's no assumption on my part. What are you talking about?
Man.
Say again.
So there's no assumption on my part. What are you talking about?
I was offended.
It's not going as easy as you thought it would, huh?
Oh, that's cute.
I know.
that's cute.
All right,
cute,
bro. God damn. All right, it's not
cute.
going no.
So we got a love connection here. If that's cute, dude. We got a love connection.
I'm very married.
Wow. I just want to know. Hey, look. See, this is what happens is when we don't understand each generation. My father was born in 1909, and you can estimate when his father was born. My grandmother was a sharecropper, and her mother was a slave. Now, put the numbers together. I didn't read about it. I lived it. So what I'm trying to tell you, every generation has a disconnect. From dance style to clothes.
Every generation has had foibles. Every generation has had foibles. Every generation has made their share of mistakes. Every generation also has benefited from the previous.
Yes. And we...
So the problem that I have is when there are those who come up here and act like because they have lived and they can see things through a lens that obviously was not available to prior generations, so they can see things a little bit clearer. Just like my generation could see things clearer than my mother's generation. But to be so callous and so obtuse and, hubris to think, they say, well, just shit on the previous generations because y'all got it wrong. That is offensive to me.
Well, I love how people vernacular and their grammar is so much better than when I was coming up. And I love the words y'all use, even though I had to read a goddamn dictionary while you're saying them. But I love the way y'all put it out there. All right, so that's one improvement. That's one improvement I can say that it happened through the educational system that we didn't have there.
Excuse me, a question real quick.
So what I'm trying to tell you is, we gonna always have this as far as the disconnect. Now I have been on programs when people was totally disrespect. I don't look at world class what he said is disrespect. I just look at him just having a conversation with me and come to some kind of understanding. I'm a simple person. I am, but my damn brains is a genius.
Bang, 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 bang.
And I can whoop your ass, little podcast, and you better not ever off me for a damn flight. You better not ever off me for a damn flight.
I tell y'all what ain't fair around here. I'm from Chicago. It ain't gonna be fair, bro.
Well, you know how the FOI do it. You ain't gonna be able to bring your boys in their own brain minds. You're not gonna be able to bring your boys in their own brain minds.
My boys on Stony Island too. I hope you don't think I was that FOI.
So you know how we roll.
What was you gonna ask him? What was you gonna ask him, little podcast?
Go ahead.
I want to ask TJ Randolph exactly what comment could she pull out to say this exemplifies the rhetoric that I was offended by.
If my memory serves me correct, I think it was something that as it relates to after my comment that I put in the super chat, Mr. World Class talked about being exceptional and something to that effect, and then talked about what my generation, you can't question us and what we did wrong.
No,
I can't.
before that.
Right, that's what I'm
that.
saying. Before that, what made
Yeah, before
you
that.
put the super chat?
I
That's
think
what
it
I'm
was
saying.
a banter between him and OG.
Banter.
Because I think very highly of you, and it's gonna hurt my
Did I
feelings if
say
you
something
telling
funny?
me. No, don't
Mr.
worry about that.
Worldclass?
Conversate with me. He wasn't laughing at you. He was laughing at something else. But
The
this is what I'm
background.
saying.
No,
Yeah.
It's gonna hurt my
He was
feelings.
laughing at me because I said banter, and then
No,
he
and I laughed at his
repeated
response to you
banter as
saying
if
banter.
somehow that is amusing.
I laughed
And don't
at
start
his
up the
response
conversation,
to you
little
saying
podcast
banter.
about your damn feelings.
How you got smoke last night?
TJ,
This is what I'm
was
saying.
TJ. That was
I'm saying this.
TJ.
I think highly of you, right?
That was me.
So,
I want to clarify that, Blue Pocket. Let me clarify for you.
yeah, go ahead.
I got
I
love for him.
appreciate that.
I was laughing at his response to the banter. That's what you said banter, then he said it back banter. Like I was just tripping off it.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, is that a funny word?
No,
It was funny. His
He
response.
wasn't laughing at you. He was laughing at the person that responded to you, because they actually obviously don't know what banter is. I know cheeky banter.
No, because he's
the
exceptional.
thing-
I'm sure that
you know
he
the
does
people-
know what
you know the
banter is.
people
Anyway, continue, little podcast.
The people
I
that
don't
know
know,
me
but
on
this
this
is what I'm
panel
saying,
know I
like-
study etymology, and I know what the word meant. But it's cute.
Right. See, that's good too, bro. A lot
I
of
beg
people
your
don't
pardon,
do that.
sir. Say again, sir.
This smoke ain't gonna
He
die.
just said that he knows
come
what
on,
the
bro.
words mean. He studies etymology of words. So he
Okay,
knows
so
what-
are you saying that I didn't use the word correctly? Is that
Did y'all
what
say
we're doing?
somebody study astrology or something like that? What was y'all using?
Go ahead,
What
little
was that word?
podcast.
Y'all start cutting them off.
Yeah,
Let them, hold on. Let them have this
Yeah, let's get back
conversation.
to it.
Yeah.
Let's
So
just
what-
let's stay on message, okay? Little
So what-
podcast.
I
TT
appreciate
says
you,
that's
man,
what
Drill.
you
Thank
say.
you,
There you go.
Little
Thank you.
podcast. I'm sorry. Continue.
No, I was just saying, like, I think very highly of you, right? So, I don't want to believe that what you're saying is you don't want us, well, not us, right? Because I'm old too now, but you don't want the younger generation to criticize the older generation, because that's part of the process of them getting it right.
Well,
Is
first
to
of all,
outwardly
again,
criticize what was done wrong before so that they don't repeat the mistakes. You see what I'm saying?
criticism is not the issue.
Okay.
Criticism is not the issue. Not for
Okay.
me. Again, as you know, little podcast, I'm very transparent about the things that me personally that I've done wrong, to
Right.
ensure that my daughter doesn't do the same thing, and also to ensure that many ladies who are younger than me don't do the same thing.
Right.
what
And
I
I
do have a-
appreciate that, even though I know some people don't.
But what I do have a problem with is, again, I can't think of a word right now, but I'll just go with this one.
Mhm.
When they seem to shit on people who came before them, and I think the thing that bothers me, one of the things that bothers me is not to be questioned. It's not about being questioned, because there's always room for improvement. But
Right.
there's this assumption, or it comes off as if, and I'm not necessarily talking about the people on this panel, but it comes off as if when I hear these kinds of conversations, it's as if the previous generations knew that they were getting it wrong. As if the previous generations intentionally fucked it up.
Yeah.
But don't make us feel like we fucked it up either. Like,
I didn't say that.
but that's what that's what it sounds like. As I said, the most of the problem with most older generation, they like to see, y'all don't like this shit happen to y'all when it comes to us because we're younger. A lot of older generation, they don't value our opinions because they don't think we know as much as y'all. But honestly, I feel like my generation, I'm 31. We know just as much. Now, we probably don't have the experience, the wisdom, but we know just as much. So when to the day till y'all start respecting what we say, maybe we'll respect a little bit what you done or what you say as well.
Who am I speaking with now?
What we know.
Rob.
What we know,
Okay.
robbed.
Okay.
So
Everybody in their 30s understood what I was saying. Everybody in their early 40s understood what I was saying. The OG mentioned about which was the truth. They dealt with the man directly. That's a fact. What I told OG was, and he said that we were struggling with the women that they trained. What I told OG was that was always the goal. What y'all are talking about was what you thought was correct, and it was not correct. So at 36, born in 1985, knowing what we know now, why wouldn't we operate with the urgency consistent with what we learned?
Exactly.
We have access to information that you didn't have. You want to act like, oh, we didn't know. Okay, so for you to not know, and I'm younger than you, it means that you had to bust your ass to not know, because how the fuck do I know and you don't know? I'm not talking to you specifically, but your generation. That's what we're upset about. I have a lot of respect for elders. I'm the one who sit around the most, but I am conveying my generation's anger as best I can. So you don't have a reason not to know when I know, when you've been here longer than me. The same thing y'all use to take the floor is the same thing I'm using for you to, you might want to be quiet and listen. Because we're not as dumb as you feel like. There's something called epigenetics. The next generation comes prepared with what you spent your entire life working on. So we can assimilate the information a little slicker than y'all think we can.
Yep. Because you think about generations, each generation is supposed to generate the next generation. So instead of criticizing what this generation don't do or how crazy this generation
No,
don't
criticism is fine. Like I'm like,
but
constructive
criticism back. Like, what's the point?
I gotta go.
Real quick, Mr. Royal Class, I want to just go ahead and say this right now.
All right, Court.
I want to go ahead and
Bye, y'all.
apologize.
Thank you.
to
Bye, TJ.
All right, Courtney.
All right, Cody.
Bye. I appreciate you guys. I'll be in the chat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and apologize to you, Mr. World Class, that I came in hot and emotional and pissed and offended. So,
apology accepted.
And because I was hot, emotional, and offended, I did not process what you were saying, and I just, got in my generational X attitude, posture, and being hot. So I'm gonna go ahead and apologize to you right now because I believe in leadership, and leadership means when you're wrong, you got to say you're wrong. So I'm wrong.
Man, who got the applause button, bro?
For real, like I love you, bro.
God bless you.
DJ is always.
That's the difference between women and men.
That's the reason why
Oh shit.
like that.
It's just a fact, bro.
But that's the reason why I rock with TJ, because TJ deals with something that I deal with in the education world that's called reflection.
Boom, the world class.
Remember, when a king is loved as I am, much can be accomplished.